Hey there, cat fans. Welcome to Meowster Podcast. I'm Rebecca Zish, and that's Tim Black.
Hi.
Hi. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Feels like it anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm, getting along. Excuse me if I'm speaking too loudly. I've lost some of the hearing in my left ear.
What?
I know.
I beg your pardon?
So you'll let me know if my volume needs to be adjusted.
Well, I can do all that adjusting in post.
Oh, fancy.
So you're fine.
Wow. Well, this is episode 100
Yay.
of the Meowster Podcast.
100.
People say it wouldn't last.
Can you believe it?
I said people say it wouldn't last. I didn't say people said it wouldn't last.
They continuously
They continue to say. We're proving them wrong
We
with
are
every
indeed.
additional episode.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So, for this episode, we thought about, big elaborate things. We thought about, we talked about a big musical extravaganza
Yes.
for this episode.
We thought about getting the Ray Conniff singers in here.
No one will understand that reference. Maybe some people. Oh my goodness. No, but seriously, we tried to do we mark the occasion?
Yeah. Do we do like a greatest hits of the past 100 episodes?
But why? All
Yeah.
the episodes are available.
They're all out there.
If
You
you
can
want
all
to
hear
listen
them.
to them, you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why make us do all that work to dig
That
through
seems
and
like
find?
a lot of work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have an editing intern
Yeah,
like
we
some
don't have-
podcasts people listen to.
Exactly.
We have Harriet, and she doesn't have thumbs,
No.
so she's not good at.
She's not good at editing and picking out clips.
She also doesn't speak English, so it's difficult for her. Even if you give her a list of clips you're looking for,
Yeah.
she has trouble matching
Right.
the symbols on the page to the sounds that she hears. She's also not very good at wearing headphones, I've noticed.
No, she's not. She has tried. We have a picture of her trying to wear headphones at one point, I think.
Does she just chew on them, maybe?
I don't know. I think she just tries to pretend it's not happening.
Aw, poor Harriet. She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did do for this episode is we actually watched a film that you and I have both been wanting to watch for some time.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while.
And we've been super excited about it. We tried to see it in theaters. It actually never played in theaters here in Las Vegas.
No, it did not.
It's still playing in theaters around the country.
Okay.
People can still go out and see it if they want to in their town. But it never played here. It didn't look like it was going to play here. And then it became available on a streaming service that neither one of us
We weren't really familiar with.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
But the film is, it's a documentary titled Kedi, Kedi, which is Turkish for cat.
Yeah.
So very simple, the documentary is just called Cat, but in Turkish.
Right.
And the documentary is in Turkish.
Yes, it
but
is.
You can stream it with English subtitles at one streaming service.
Only one. No Netflix, no Hulu.
No Amazon.
Nope, none of the above.
No.
Only on YouTube Red.
Yeah. And so this is a YouTube premium service that allows you to watch YouTube without commercials.
Yeah.
And also gives you access to some films.
Some exclusive content. Yeah.
And this is one of those things. And if you are sitting at home and you say, I want to watch this documentary, you can. Just go to your regular YouTube account. If you don't have one, make one.
Yep, that's easy.
And then you can get a 3-month free trial of YouTube Red. We are not advertising for them. This is not a pitch for them.
No.
But.
It's the only way you can see it.
And it's a great film.
It really is amazing.
Of all the films we've watched for this podcast, some of them we watch them purposely because they're ridiculous.
Right.
Some of them we watch for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
Some films we watch and we absolutely adore. The documentary we watched, Cat Show, for example, was amazing. But this, my boyfriend called it just extended cat porn. Is what he
Okay.
his point being, I think I'm quoting him correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But his point being that people who like to watch cat videos online are looking for the wonderful, sometimes quirky, always charming behaviors of cats, right? This, he was saying, is like taking that, but giving it these beautiful production values and then making it, an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And so there's that visual element that's incredible. And you could watch it with the sound off.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like to read subtitles and you don't speak Turkish, then you could just turn the sound off and just enjoy the visuals of it.
And you'll get it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It really is. It's beautifully shot. And there are these drone shots from above Istanbul looking down as they fly over these old buildings and stuff. Yeah. And it goes from that to cat's eye view angle down on the ground.
Yes.
And everything in between.
And everything in between. And let's make it clear. The reason why the title of the film is Kedi is because it is a film about cats in Istanbul.
Yep.
And so and I have to say, Istanbul is a city I've always wanted to travel to.
Yeah.
I've been interested in it since I first saw the 1980 Murder on the Orient Express film. And then I wanted to learn about the Orient Express and the idea that you can travel from Venice to Istanbul on the Orient Express. And I was like, well, what's Istanbul? So like as a little girl, looking up Turkey and looking at pictures of this beautiful city and our encyclopedia set at home.
Yeah.
And then seeing it this way. So I knew that there was a street cat population in Istanbul, but I'd never seen it like this. And I've never gotten to go there yet in my life. I still would like to someday travel on the Orient Express, which you can do.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
But it only goes a couple times a year. You have to
plan for it.
Oh, one time my mom and I were like, we can do it. We could do it next year. Right. So I called. And you have to book it like 3 years out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they put us on a list and they called us, when we came up on the list, but we weren't in the position to take the trip then. Yeah. So
it's hard to plan that far in advance.
It's really, life gets in the way.
It does.
Unfortunately.
It does.
But it's not like a giant train and, they're limited to the space that there is. So,
sure.
Yeah. But someday I still want to do it.
Absolutely.
And that new Murder on the Orient Express is coming out soon.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I know this isn't about cats, but let me just say, doesn't everybody know the ending to Murder on the Orient Express? I'm not going to spoil it for people who don't right now, but doesn't everyone know?
Possibly.
Do you know?
I do know.
Yeah.
Of course I know.
Is it fun I don't know. I know they love to remake things in Hollywood.
That's
but
true.
Sometimes it's like, read the book.
Right.
All right. So we get to see Istanbul from every angle, from every height. The ground shots, the cinematographer was literally laying in the streets of Istanbul. Did you read his bio on the website?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. He said, I never imagined that after going to film school that I'd find myself laying in the streets of Istanbul filming cats. What's incredible to me, and we can get into the specifics of what, who we meet and that, but just still on the topic of the visuals, it's incredible to me that these cats allowed them to film them. Yeah,
that was the interesting part.
Yeah, I kept saying, are they just setting up cameras places? And then because I watched it with my boyfriend and we go, no, the camera's moving.
Yeah.
Someone's handling the camera.
Right. So yeah, it's a very different kind than, you might see stray cats in the street in Las Vegas or whatever, fill in the blank, your town.
Yeah.
But if you try to approach them, they're going to run away.
Yeah.
These cats interact very well with people and they don't, the cameras didn't seem to faze them at all.
No, and
they just went about their daily business.
Yeah. And they really are just citizens of Istanbul.
Yeah.
And this is really what the film wants us to understand.
Right.
Is so the very beginning of the film, the words that come up on the screen, they say, cats have lived in Istanbul for thousands of years. They live without masters. So we're supposed to understand, if you go to the website too, which is just kedifilm.com, KEDIFILM.com. And there they describe it very well. I can read this to you from the website. It says, hundreds of thousands of Turkish cats roam the metropolis of Istanbul freely. For thousands of years, they've wandered in and out of people's lives, becoming an essential part of the communities that make the city so rich. Claiming no owners, the cats of Istanbul live between two worlds, neither wild nor tame. And they bring joy and purpose to those people they choose to adopt. In Istanbul, cats are the mirrors to the people, allowing them to reflect on their lives in ways nothing else could. So
yeah,
that summarizes what the filmmaker wants us to understand. All right, the filmmaker, whose name is, I think it's pronounced Seda Torun. It's Ceydatorun. She grew up in Istanbul, and then her family moved away. And again, on the website, she says, I grew up in Istanbul, and I believe my childhood was infinitely less lonesome than it would have been if it weren't for cats. And I wouldn't be the person I am today. They were my friends and confidants, and I missed their presence in all the other cities I ever lived in. This film is, in many ways, a love letter to those cats and the city, both of which are changing in ways that are unpredictable. And that's another theme of the film.
Right.
I think the two main themes of the film are that cats and humans can have these philosophical relationships, and for some people very spiritual relationships, and for some intellectual relationships.
Yes.
It's so interesting.
It really is mind-blowing.
And then another theme of the film is just about the changing of old world to new world.
Yeah, the modernization of Istanbul.
And so many humans in the film say, we're more worried about what's going to happen to the cats as the city is changing, rather than what's going to happen to us. And you humans can adapt.
We'll be fine. But
where are the cats going to go?
Right.
They've been here for thousands of years. Yeah, it's so interesting. I encourage people to go to this website and read what she wants people to know. I read a few different interviews with her online as well, like for different newspapers and websites and things. And she repeatedly talks about how whenever she would live somewhere else and she sees cats, that she gets excited. She's like, cats! But they're not. They're not Istanbul cats.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen cats interact with people the same way as in this film.
Yeah, random people just walking down the street, going about their business, like just reach down and pet cats as they're walking around, or like a cat sitting on a crate or top of a mailbox, and they just scratch their heads as they walk by.
Or and the cat's just cool with it. Yeah. Or even more interesting is people just like walk by as if, I see this every day. They don't react, and the cat doesn't react either. It's not like, there's a guy walking right behind me. What am I?
I better scooch out of the way or scamper away. Or
the cat's like, I'm in my spot right now, and
you can walk around me.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening.
That's what one person in the film said. I think it was the young woman, the artist, the painter.
Yeah,
and she said how interesting it is that at the moment that you notice a cat is when the cat also notices you.
Right.
That there are thousands of cats and you see them all the time. They're just part of your landscape. But every once in a while, there's one that you notice. Yeah. And that you and that cat will have a moment.
Right.
And it's equal in every way. You're meeting on you're meeting on the same level. But that cat didn't just make eye contact with any other human. And you didn't make eye contact with any other cat.
Right.
Why you too? But it's true. People always say, cats choose their humans.
Right.
If you go to adopt in a rescue or a shelter, it does feel often like you've been chosen.
Yeah. This cat's going to get on your lap.
Or you might be told by a volunteer that cat's never done this before. And you and I have seen it.
Absolutely.
Cats who are shy, they don't want to have anything to do. And one human walks in one day and they're like up on their feet and over and rubbing against them like, you.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you. Thanks for finally coming. It's been a while.
Right.
And we see that happen over and over again in this movie, but in such it is spiritual. Like people tell these stories.
Yeah.
In many ways, I'm speechless.
Yeah, well, and they're interacting in such a unique way too, because it's like it says at the very beginning of the movie, they have no master. So it's not like I'm going to take you home and you're going to stay in my house and I'm going to give you a nice soft bed to lay on, and I'm going to bring you food 3 times a day.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, but others are like, well, you can't keep him. He's gonna go out. So he has to be out there doing his thing. And they just it's not like somebody owns an outdoor cat. It's just like they kind of look after this cat. You have a relationship. You have a relationship with this cat, and that cat's home base is also your house. But whenever he wants to go out,
or your store, or your place of business,
your market stall, or your deli, or whatever.
Oh my God! Okay, the cat who chose to live at the deli.
I love that cat.
I was like, that's me. That is me as the cat. That was Dumont.
Yes.
And Dumont, he came to live at this deli, and he showed up. They said he showed up one day, and they heard him coming.
Yeah.
They said he was complaining very loudly walking down the street. And I know what that means. Like, this cat was walking along going, meow, 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 meow. And they think he was put out by someone.
Right.
Like he had been an indoor cat.
A pet,
And they said he was very chubby.
Yes.
And so he found this deli.
Yeah.
And he won't come inside.
I know.
But he doesn't leave.
Right.
He just
stays.
They have outdoor seating, and he just stays there like he's a constant customer.
Right.
And it was funny because they say, they say, yeah, he lives here at the deli, and we feed him, we take care of him. They call him the gentleman. He's a very gentlemanly cat. He's very mannered. He doesn't ask customers for food.
No, he never begs them for food.
No. And he doesn't harass anybody, and he doesn't want to be pet.
Nope.
And I think the people who work at the deli think that he lives there and he's chosen them. I just think he's a customer. And I think that he thinks he's a customer.
Sure. Yeah.
He does this thing where he gets up in the window and he scratches in the window.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It's very cute. Yes.
Yeah. You would have to feed that cat. Right? And they given him a collar.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too.
Which is pink, by the way.
Yes.
It looks very nice on him. But in classic American iconography, giving a male cat a pink collar.
Right.
But no, he's very much a gentleman. He pulls it off.
He does.
He's very handsome. They said actually that sometimes they still find him in dumpsters. Like they can't find him, and he'll be in the dumpster, and they have to help him out.
Right.
Because this was a quote from the film. Underneath his aristocratic manner, he's still a street kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he is one of the street cats.
Right.
But no, I think he thinks he's a customer, just like the people. Like, this is my favorite restaurant, and I live here.
Yeah.
But I come here every day.
I come here every day.
Like you see in the film, these older Turkish men who go to the cafes and sit and play backgammon and drink Turkish coffee.
Yeah. That's him.
Yeah. He's just... Yeah. But that's his cafe, is this fancy deli.
Right.
They feed him every day. They feed him manchego cheese and smoked meats. I wouldn't leave either.
No, I know. He's got it all figured out. He's got a good gig for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the film website, there's a personality test you can take that'll tell you which one of the cats from the film you are.
Oh, really? I haven't taken that.
I took it. I'm this cat. So I had already said, that would be me.
Yeah.
If I'm reincarnated as a cat, I'm finding the fanciest deli where they feed me manchego cheese. And I loved how the butcher was saying, oh, no, we give him soft cheeses and smoked meats. As if that's more like cat food somehow.
No, that's why he's chubby.
Manchego cheese is rich and expensive.
Oh, I know.
He's eating I buy myself manchego cheese maybe once a year as a treat.
Yeah.
Around my birthday.
Yeah. See? Yeah. He's eating it every day.
Every day. They shave off these beautiful pieces for him, and they put it on beautiful wax paper for him to eat off of. He sits right by the door. Gobbles up his
Doesn't
meal.
bother anybody. Stays out of the way.
But they say he's a glutton. He paws.
Yes.
He paws for food frequently. More. That would totally be me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, if I were cat, now I've got this idea. Obviously I've always thought, reincarnated as as a well taken care of cat is fantastic.
Sure.
But if you can figure out how also to live at a fancy deli.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yes.
Before that, I was I was really on board with the cat who was choosing to live at the bakery, the fancy pastry shop.
Mm-hmm.
But as a cat, you don't want to eat pastries.
No, that's no good.
That was like a human part of me. It was like, pastries.
Right.
So, yes. But then I saw the deli and I'm like, oh, no, that's where you go if you're a cat.
Definitely.
You live at the deli.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these cats live everywhere.
They do.
In the planning for the film, they wanted to find, I think they said 83 locations and 83 cats, I think was what they were looking for.
Okay.
And then they narrowed it down once they had their footage.
Yeah. So they got 7.
Yeah.
Is what they feature in this film.
I think that's what I can't find that note right now, but I believe that's what I read in one of the interviews with the filmmaker. Yeah. And so they focus on 7 cats. We see hundreds of cats.
Oh, yeah. Not just these 7 cats. We see lots and lots of cats.
Yeah. And we see lots and lots of people. So we get this ongoing theme throughout the film about people and their connection to cats. And they say so many interesting things, ideas like cats give off good energy and absorb your bad energy.
Right.
That's kind of a holistic notion about relationships with cats. This one woman talks about that having a relationship with cats is similar to what she imagines having a relationship with aliens would be.
Oh, yeah. I really like that.
You learn each other's languages. You learn to communicate.
Learn to communicate with this being that is very, very different from you. And you're able to communicate on some level and understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even without
speaking the language. Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned already with this woman who's a painter. She talked a lot about how it's difficult to be a modern woman in Istanbul. The artist, this woman, she's Islamic herself. And so I think she didn't talk specifically about her religion, but I think she was getting at, like, it's difficult to express your femininity when you're also devout. Right. And so she manages to do that through her art. But she was saying, like, that one of the reasons she just adores having cats around, and she paints cats, and she says they all have this feminine elegance.
Yes.
And that she thinks that modern women have lost that.
Right.
And that they should look to cats to understand how to carry themselves. And cats all know how to have good posture and how to carry themselves with an elegance. She said cats are sure of their character. And there was a lot of that as well, talking about all the different personalities that cats can have. That one woman who lives across from the bakery, she went on she talked a lot about different ways that cats show themselves, like, all these different, very specific discussions of different personalities that cats can have. Yeah. Like, and I couldn't even type that fast. It was like... But do you remember that part? They were playing like 60s go-go music.
Oh, yes.
And they were just showing like cat after cat, like every word she used. They found a
cat that embodied that.
Yeah. A super. And by the way, the music in this is fantastic.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. The score.
Yeah. The original score
is beautiful.
It goes so well with the imagery, with the shots of the city and stuff.
Yeah. Those drone shots are really something.
Yeah.
Whatever your opinions of drones may be.
They take good pictures.
For photography, it's, yeah. But then, so there was a beautiful score for the film, but there's also so much fun music that they use with individual cats that it was like 60s go-go music, but it was in Turkish.
Right, yeah. Super cool.
And then they used a lot of jazz. And they used, specifically, there was some jazz that also used traditional Turkish sounding arrangements. Yeah. So there was some sort of like Middle Eastern dissonance in the music, but in sort of like mid 20th century jazz formats. And
really interesting stuff.
Cats always look like they're walking along to jazz music anyway.
Yeah, they do.
So when you put
they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah. I mean, like in That Darn Cat.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's much better to see him walking along to Bobby Darin than in that remake.
Definitely. I remember you were mentioning how that woman brought up how difficult it is to be a modern woman in a Muslim setting like that. It made me think of, they were talking to this guy who was talking about how he grew up with cats.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
How he grew up with cats, and he and his brother had set up sort of a cat graveyard in their backyard.
He said they would bury each cat with great ceremony.
Yeah, with great ceremony, which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have a way to mark these graves, but they came up with this idea from cowboy movies.
The good, the bad,
and the ugly. So they would put these crosses in the yard, and I guess their dad saw these crosses in the backyard and freaked out. It's like, my kids are turning Christian. Sent them to Quran school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, Dad, don't worry about it. It's just...
No, it's just we like this old movie. That guy was awesome. That guy was a cartoonist.
Yeah. I really liked his artwork.
Yeah. And he had a cat that was his house cat that lived indoors with him.
Yeah.
But he just has a relationship. So, yeah, he's one of the people that we meet that has an amazing relationship with the street cats.
Yeah.
And just these people who talk about, like, they can't even imagine living other places. You know, just life wouldn't be what it is without this landscape of cats is part of it. But he did have a cat with a collar that lived inside his house. And he was saying that one of his favorite things to see is when he goes, he does a lot of like vintage record shopping. Yeah. And he loves the cats that hang out in old record shops. Yeah. And he likes when they're in drawers and things. He said in vintage clothing stores too, because that's his milieu. Right. And so he loves it when he comes home then and his own cat is sleeping in an open drawer. Right. And he'll sketch him really quick when he's sleeping in an open drawer. Yeah. And there was another point in the film after we met that cartoonist where I think they showed us a mural he'd done. There was a mural, yeah. I think it looked like it was in his style. It looked like his work. Yeah. Yeah, I think we were supposed to make that connection. Yeah. We were seeing a mural of cats that he'd done in the city. Yeah. Oh, no, I love that guy. Yeah, that story was great. So funny. It was. I really liked that. His dad freaking out. Oh, my God. I don't think they even understood that the crosses were a symbol. No, I don't think so. It's like this is how they mark graves in cowboy movies. Yeah. That's what the cross means. There's a grave here. Somebody's buried under this. Yeah. Bury them with great ceremony. Yeah. He's also the one who explains the story of how the cat population developed in Turkey. Yeah. He gives us a quick historical summary of Istanbul as a port city. Yes. And so ship cats coming from everywhere. So he specifically said the Norwegian ships would come. They had the cats on board, and I loved how he said, like, they'd come into Istanbul, and some of them wouldn't make the boat, so they just make a home here. Yeah. And then he was talking about how Istanbul was the home to the first Ottoman sewers, and so then cats had a lot of prey and food. Lots of rats and whatever. Yeah, lots of rats, and so they just were healthy and the population expanded, and it all makes sense. But it is interesting. I think it helps explain why you see so many different looking cats. There's long-haired, medium-haired, short-haired, little chubby cats with fat faces, and long cats with big, long, skinny tails, and every possible different cat. And I think that was part of what he was trying to explain is like the cats here come from everywhere. Right. I think, and especially when you think of Turkey as being, sort of in the center, yes, the Ottoman Empire, but sort of like the center of the, the dawn of civilization, right? That it's accessible in all ways from Asia and Africa and Europe. And so all these different breeds of cats that we know of would have all been able to get there. Right. And the most difficult would have been the long-haired cats of Northern Europe, but clearly they got there by boat. Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. Every color, every pattern, every size and shape. And they don't all just look like alley cats. That's right. Yeah. Because they're not. No. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. I was trying to think about it. I mean, they're not, quote unquote, according to Hoyle, feral cats in the way that we think of them. No. Because of the way that they interact with humans. No. And most of them are spay and neuter. Yeah. Too. Yeah. I would say that in the cats that we see in this film, I mean, we meet some people who feed needy populations of cats.
Yeah.
There are definitely populations of cats that seem to be closer to the water.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of kittens and stuff who can't really fend for themselves.
Yeah.
That well.
And there are people who take care of them and
they bring chicken to them and whatnot.
Yeah. Just like there are, we know people here who
Absolutely.
take care of feral populations.
Yeah.
But they seem to spay and neuter as many as they can. But there was a story, I think, isn't it the cat who is at the bakery most of the time? They said that when he first showed up, he wasn't quite a year old and he hadn't been neutered yet.
Yes.
So indicating that we had him neutered.
Right.
When he decided he was going to stay around here, we had him neutered.
There was also a human that was talking about, and it might have been so many people that they talked to. I don't remember which guy it was, but
yeah, I'm going to watch it again.
I am too. Yeah. But he talks about how it's like, I think it was the bakery guy. He said that everything that goes in our tip jar goes in our vet fund. It's like we have an open tab at the vet.
Yeah. And he said everybody does.
Yeah. He says everybody around here has an open tab at the vet. And
he called his vet by his first name too.
Yeah.
He was like our vet Eli or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like every extra bit of money, people give us donations for it and it all goes to that. Everything in our tip jar goes to pay for that and everything. So they're like, it's just something that we do.
Yeah. So, and it's not even a question.
No, it's not.
If you live in Istanbul, especially if you grew up there, then
it's part of
cats are part of your life.
Yeah.
They take care of you in their own way.
Exactly.
And you take care of them in return.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he was basically saying that exact thing.
Yeah.
As they were showing some cat that was like lounging on some chair or something like that.
Well, that is Gamsiz.
Yes.
Gamsiz. They said that when he first showed up, he was a bit of a thug.
Right.
But I loved how, I don't know if it was the baker's partner or wife, like he was making these incredible pies and tarts and turnovers.
Yeah. And
then his partner, the woman, was making these incredible cakes with ganache and stuff. And I was just like, the pastries. Right. Oh my God. But she said that he's a bit of a thug, but he's always in a good mood. But he's basically the guy you want to take out to the bars with you.
Right.
Like he's that guy. He's super fun to hang out with, but he'd protect you in a fight.
Right.
Like he's fun.
He's also the one that had the sideways stance that she was talking about, and she was
that was the lady across the street.
Yeah, and she was describing how he would come over to her house, and it's like when he wants to come inside, he doesn't look straight in the window. He kind of stands with his side to the window, and he kind of reaches his paw across his body and kind of taps on the glass.
Yeah, she says that he's knocking.
Yeah,
he's knocking. Saying, hello, I'd like to come in now. Yeah. This guy Gamsiz, the baker says, like, I'm his main person. Yeah. And everyone else is a supporting character in his life.
Right.
But he has a little romance with this kind of middle-aged lady that lives across the street. Right. And she's a very artistic lady. She quite a flair. But she says, I live on the first floor, which in their terms to us would be the second floor in America, right?
So
but they say ground floor, first floor.
Right.
She says, I live on the first floor, so it's easy for cats to get to me.
Yeah.
And the footage they had of the cats going up and down this crazy looking tree in front of her house. And then she has this patio with like iron bar. That makes it sound like it's gated in, but like kind of beautiful artisanal iron work, right? But they have to get from the tree to like an awning to her patio and then sit at the glass and knock. Yeah. And then she decides whether they're going to come in. She actually has a cat that is an indoor cat in her apartment. But then all these other cats that live around there come and go out of her apartment, and her cat just, puts up with it or whatever. But they come in to eat her cat's food.
Right.
And sometimes they spend the night, sleep in her bed, and then leave again out the window.
Yeah, and then sometimes she's like, okay, it's time for you to go. And then the cat will just go. It didn't put up a fuss or anything like that. It's just like, oh, okay, time for me to go.
Nice to see you. I'll go somewhere else. I got other people to visit.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, but the cats in the neighborhood seem to really like that lady.
Yeah.
But Gamsiz is also the cat. He has a contentious relationship with another cat who is trying to become the dominant male in his territory.
In the neighborhood, yes, Ginger.
and who's obviously an orange tabby male.
Yeah.
And I had the greatest time watching the footage they got of those two cats interacting.
It was amazing.
Well, in my cat behavior business, I see cats that don't get along. I mean, it is the most common reason why people call me for help.
Right.
And we need a cat behaviorist at the house because our cats don't get along.
Yeah.
And I see that behavior. I was narrating it as it was happening while we were watching it. I was like, do you see the uninterrupted staring? Uninterrupted staring. Okay, you see like the furs going up on the back. Oh, look at the ears moving, pupils. Oh, here it goes. Oh, right there. And then they would, it was a blast for me to watch it. And also because I know, I'm enough of an expert in this that I knew these cats actually weren't going to hurt each other.
Right.
But this is all about showmanship. But there is a scene where the two Gumsees, who's black and white cat, and the Ginger, the orange tabby, they're about the same size and same age, and they got up on their hind legs to each other. Yeah. And they were like, I'm taller than you. No, we are the same size. And then they just kind of give up. But you see that uninterrupted staring. And I was like, oh, it's coming. Oh, watch.
You see some of that footage in the trailer, too. If you haven't seen the whole film yet, if you've seen the trailer, you've seen some of that battle.
There's two different trailers. There's a U.S. trailer and a European trailer. You can watch both of them on YouTube. Yeah. They're different. The U.S. trailer introduces the 7 main cats in the movie. Yeah. The European trailer doesn't do that. It's more kind of ethereal and spiritual in nature, and so they're obviously understanding an American audience wants a narrative. What's our story here? Right. Here are your characters you will follow. But I love it's fun. I'll read it. This is in the American trailer they introduce Sari the hustler, Bangu the lover, Psychopat the psycho, Denise the social butterfly, Aslan Parkasi the hunter, Duman the gentleman, and Gamses the player. Yeah. Which is funny. And those are the main cats that we meet, but actually, you don't catch all their names.
No, you don't. The movie. No, I had the website up as I was watching, and I'm like, this has got to be one of the 7 because they're spending a significant amount of time talking about this cat, but they've never said his name. So I'm just looking. That looks like him, and I click on a picture. That's Psychopat.
Yeah. Oh well, Psychopat is an interesting cat.
Yes.
She.
An overprotective housewife is I think how they described her.
Yes, that she doesn't like soft love. She likes tough love, and the guy was showing what he meant. Like she likes to be like really scratched, like with both hands and stuff. She doesn't just want to be petted nicely on the head. But they call her the fish thief and the archenemy of dogs. She is the psychopath of the neighborhood. That she has a husband. They say this black and white male cat. Right. And he is under her thumb.
Yes. He's not allowed to eat until she's done.
If she's done eating, then he can eat. And any other female cats come along. Yeah. And wow.
There's trouble.
She was not happy. She was not happy seeing that female cat.
Not at all.
No. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah. But I love the stories that they tell, like these specific 7 cats. The one whose name is Aslan Parkasi, he's a black and white fluffy cat. Yeah. And he decided that he wanted to go live at this seaside fish restaurant.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, but he showed up just as they were having trouble with the rat population because they are right on the sea. Yeah. Obviously, there's a rat population. Yeah. Obviously, people don't like to see that when they're dining.
Obviously.
They had tried putting poison out for them. And they were really kind of at their wits' end over it. They didn't know what to do. And this guy just showed up. Like, he realized, they need help. So he comes and they say he just controls the rat population at night. And so we actually get to see this cat hunting. So they filmed him sort of walking around the restaurant and sitting. And then there was kind of this place where he could jump down into the sewer area. Yeah. And they had like night vision photography set up there. So they must have preset a camera because a person's not getting down there.
True.
And so he's down there looking for rats. And it was a funny little piece of footage because this rat stuck his head out, saw the cat, and ducked back in.
Yeah.
And the cat like turned around and was like, and then jumped back out again.
Yeah.
Like, went looking for rats somewhere else.
Yeah, there was not a lot, but there was a significant amount of footage of him hunting, doing his job.
Yeah.
Out there.
And then there were some prep cooks preparing sardines and things for the restaurant, and they just throw the fish guts on the sidewalk, and that's for him. Mm-hmm. He can have that.
Yeah.
So that's
bonus.
Yeah. But you get the impression in this film that these stories, you could go into any restaurant, into any storefront.
Yeah. It's like rats are all over that city. So any restaurant is probably going to have a cat to take care of them.
Yeah. And cats go, oh, hey, they don't have a cat.
Right.
You guys, you need me? Cool. I'll hang out.
I'll start tonight.
Yeah. But then other cats choose to adopt humans at their homes, but also at other places of business. At the beginning of the film, we meet these sort of middle-aged men that are tailors and artisans of different types. Like you see them doing all kinds of interesting handwork, you know? And they seem to all have cats that like, oh yeah, this one lives here. And this one, one gentleman said that a cat came one day and introduced herself and then had him follow her to the back of his shop where she'd had her kittens so that he would know.
Right.
Like, I've settled in here.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do to help?
Yes.
This is where I have my kittens.
Right. Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah. And he didn't tell the story as if it was anything shocking or surprising. He's like, oh, no, she just came by and then she had me follow her. And I saw that she had her kittens. And so they're here now.
Really?
Because this just happens every day.
Right. Because it's Istanbul and that's the way we do it.
Yeah. I had something like that happen to me one time. And it's an amazing story that I tell people.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
The very first cat we meet at the beginning of the movie.
Sorry.
What? Sorry
is the cat's name.
Oh, you were saying sorry to me. I thought you were suddenly Canadian and you were saying sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, she is this very slender and wily, very quick on her feet, orange and white kitty cat. And you see her running around and begging for food at all these kind of street side cafes.
Yeah.
And she eats everything people give her, and then someone gives her a big hunk of something.
Right. I couldn't tell what it was.
I couldn't tell what it was either.
Yeah.
I think it was like breaded chicken or maybe some kind of breaded meat.
Yeah.
And so she takes this big hunk in her mouth and she doesn't eat it. She's running away with it. And then she goes to a shop, someone opens a door and she goes through another door and she goes up and down and over and out. And then suddenly she's feeding it to her kittens.
Yeah.
And I actually thought she was a male cat.
Yeah, I did too at first.
I stereotype. I see orange tabbies and I usually think male.
Yeah.
And it was such a surprise.
Yeah.
And actually in one of the interviews I read with the filmmaker, she said when they first met, that she thought that she was quite a little beggar.
Yeah.
And was like, geez, she sure takes more than her fair share. And then they saw her kittens.
Yeah.
And so that's why they present the story to the audience that way.
Yeah.
Is to get that same reaction where you're like, wow, look at her begging. Oh, no, she's doing it for her kittens.
Yeah. Well, also for herself.
Well, she needs to eat too.
It's true. I liked, in watching the footage of her begging and getting food for herself, there was one point where she goes into, it looked like it might have been an office or something.
Yes, she goes into an office. and someone's having their sandwich at lunch.
And because she's like sitting in an office chair, like with wheels on it and stuff. And you don't see the person, but you see like their feet and they're sitting in this chair. So it's from the cat's eye view.
Yeah.
And she just puts down a hunk of food on the floor. And Sorry just picks it up and walks off with it.
Yeah, and she doesn't meow or anything.
No,
but she's very pretty, and she just goes up and she sits, and like she won't move until if someone has food and she sits by them, she doesn't move until they give her some.
Yeah, and it looked like it may have been editing, but it looked like she was actually following a route. Like I go this way every day, I hit all these spots all these people give me food. And it may actually be that, because the way that office worker responded to the cat showing up, it wasn't with surprise or what do you want? What are you doing here?
Why is there a cat in here?
Right.
It's like, oh, it's sorry. Here.
Yeah.
She comes by when I'm having my sandwich.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the first individual cat we meet in the film. And like I said, the filmmaker wanted us to see her in the same way she did when she saw her. But we learn from one of the people who helps her, knows her, that she was really kind of a lazabout, and she had a cushion she liked to lay on in this one shop.
Yeah.
And she never went anywhere, and until I guess she went somewhere because she got pregnant.
Right.
They said as soon as she had kittens, she became an urban hunter, where she's going around scamming people out of their food.
Yeah.
She's not. We don't see her hunting birds or anything, but
right.
Although there is that funny. Which cat is it that thinks it's hunting a seagull and then like 10 other seagulls land? That shot is so funny because that cat realizes instantly that he's out of his depth.
Right.
And I even said aloud when I was watching, I'm like, you're never going to catch a seagull.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I thought it was interesting. The only birds we see in the movie are those seagulls, and then there's one duck.
Yeah, there was a duck.
Like one random duck.
Right.
Not at a pond or anything. It's just like, oh, look, a duck. He's like standing in a park.
Right.
By himself. You don't usually see a duck by himself.
They're not typically known as solitary animals.
No. It was funny. But the cat that we were following when we saw the duck, it didn't even seem to notice the duck. It was like, I got places to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, there weren't, I think other city landscapes, I think you think of a lot of birds.
Right. Yeah.
Pigeons and jays and, whatever little things here and there. But
didn't see that.
Didn't see a lot of birds. I'm not implying anything. It was just something I noticed.
There is a conclusion that can be drawn from that.
Or it could just be the way the film was edited.
Absolutely. They made a decision. This is not a movie about birds, so we're not going to put them in there.
We got some beautiful shots of birds that we don't care about.
In Sari's profile on the website, they have a little profile of each one of these cats. I like in her profile, it says here, she's a hustler. She moves with a clear mission. Got to eat, got to drink, got to get food. She begs, steals, forges, and gets what she needs. That's her deal.
Drinking is interesting. There's actually a shot in the film of a sign on a wall next to it, like a water station that said these cups are for cats and dogs only. Yeah. And then, like, if you care about your afterlife, you will care for others. Well, or something like that. This water isn't for you.
It's not for you. Please don't touch these bowls.
Yeah. If you care about how you'll be judged.
Right. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't remove them. Leave them for the cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to say that in all of the love of cats and, people's real connection to cats. There is love there. Yeah. But it really is about a connection, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
The humans and cats are just, they're connected to each other.
It really is interesting. And because these people were born in this city and grew up in this environment and lived their whole life this way around. Yeah. And it's like it's just the way it is. You don't put any thought into it. It's just like we coexist with these animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me that there's not any negative feelings towards dogs, right? Like a lot of people have dogs, and then there's a lot of dogs and cats coexisting very easily.
Yeah, like that one fisherman would go out on his boat with his dog.
But there's quite a lot of shots of just like the dogs and cats just like sitting together on the street.
Right, yeah.
There are a couple shots of like people who have their dogs with them while they're just like the different street scenes that we were shown. Yeah. Dogs would be with someone in an outdoor cafe, and then cats are just like sitting near the dog. There are even a couple of like cats that rub up against dogs. And
right.
everyone seems to just share the streets just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And even people who you would think when they see a cat doing something would be upset and would be angry and would maybe in anywhere else in the world, like here in Las Vegas, something might kick a stray cat away or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember like there was one scene where there's a cat in a market who's just like found something in a bag and is just kind of digging in this bag.
It was potting soil.
Okay.
He was digging in potting soil.
And you see a guy who sees this and walks up to him. He's like, oh, this cat. Goes up and just kind of taps the cat on the back. And the cat's like, oh, he didn't realize he was being watched or whatever. So all of a sudden the cat.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a little tap.
He's like, excuse me, sir.
Right. There was no yelling. There was no throwing things. There was just
dumb
like,
cat.
Hey, you get out of there.
Yeah. That was Denise, Deniz, the social butterfly, she's called in the U.S. trailer. Mm-hmm. She actually lives at that big outdoor marketplace. Yeah. And I loved all the scenes, or it was like a long extended scene of her running all through the market. Yeah. And everything was absolutely at her.
Right.
And I don't know how they followed her that quickly.
I don't either.
Especially down that low. Yeah. Because she's a little thing. Mm-hmm. And she goes in and out of everything. And she's so playful.
Yeah.
All kinds of rugs and tapestries and things for sale. And she knocks at everything and bats at everything. And anything that's hanging down, sort of taunting her off a table, she bats at and plays with like a cat toy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of cat toys, I was going to say the hunter, the one who we see hunting rats, I don't know if he's the owner or the maitre d' or whatever he is at that restaurant that spoke to camera about her or him, that cat. I don't remember if that was a male or female cat, but he tosses a catnip mouse.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the cat's actually killing real rats to help the restaurant and help herself. But he got her with a toy.
And training, yes.
Yeah. And he tossed it to her and she grabbed it, kicking it, playing with it. So just like anybody's indoor, but this was on the street.
Right. Yeah.
On the street, he tossed this to her and to it's a little oh, thank you.
Yes.
We give you food, but here's something to play with. But Denise, the social butterfly at the marketplace was I thought though, when she was digging in the potting soil, I thought her intention was to use it as a litter box. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why he was like, you've got to go.
Out of here. Take that somewhere else.
Yeah. But there was a bit where this one lady who was selling these tapestries and scarves and stuff, and she found them so appealing. The cat did.
Yes.
That she kept jumping up on the table, and the lady kept pushing her down, jumping up. And he was like, you've got to get out of here.
I'm trying to run a business.
Yes, but I'm trying to play with your wares.
And this was also the cat that when they were talking to the people who work in that shop, they were talking about how they were probably going to be tearing that shop down because they were...
that marketplace.
That market, yeah, that market. Because they're building a road, because they've built all these modern buildings and they need a road to connect the rest of the city to these modern buildings so people can get to them. And that's where they were like, well, we're going to be okay, but where are these cats going to go?
Right. And the gentleman who was speaking to camera about that, as he was telling that story, another man walked up and handed him an injured kitten.
Right.
And said a bigger cat got him.
Yeah.
And we then saw that gentleman end his interview with the filmmakers. Then they got into a cab with him and they went to the vet.
Yeah.
And he actually thought that kitten was dead. And that was really something, but he said, oh, people know they can bring the cats to me. So this one man had found an injured kitten, but knew if he went down to the marketplace, he could give it to this guy. So there really is a sense of community because there was also the fisherman who tells his incredible story about his boat sinking and this cat who pointed him toward a wallet that had money in it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He said, I needed exactly this much money. And this cat pointed me to this wallet, and this wallet had that much money in it, exactly the amount I needed.
Yeah, and at first he thought, what's that cat talking? Like this cat was meowing at him. And he went to the bar because he was so upset about his boat sinking. Yeah. And then he couldn't get it out of his head that this cat had been showing that wallet to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
He was the best.
Right? Yeah, that guy was awesome.
He had just the right look, too. It was just perfect.
Yeah. But he cares for kittens now that have lost their mothers.
Right.
And so we see him syringe feeding.
Right.
These kittens that have no mother to nurse them. And he's got antibiotics, it's like this whole thing.
Tiny baby kittens.
Oh, little tiny baby kittens.
Yeah.
But what he said was that someone dropped them at a shop up the way that everyone knows he goes to.
Yeah.
So they take the kittens there, and then the shop holds them until
he shows up.
Yeah, and then say, someone dropped these for you. Did you notice that the street cats they make houses for them out of styrofoam containers?
I did notice that, yeah.
And I've never seen that before, but that makes so much sense to me. So you, 3 different people who we see care for street cats in need.
Right.
So that gentleman who has his thing where he cares for the kittens, he doesn't know what happened to their mother. No. Oh, but those kittens, that was so funny that a male cat came along and moved into the styrofoam container with them and was acting as their mother.
Right. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And then there was the woman, it's like her and her mother feed.
Yeah, they cook 20 pounds of chicken every day.
They feed 60 cats a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other gentleman we meet who had a nervous breakdown and in his attempt to recover from that found that feeding street cats brought him a sense of calm and purpose.
Yeah.
It helped him to heal emotionally and psychologically.
Right.
Yeah, so those 2 women who were feeding 60 cats a day, that guy was feeding like 600 cats a day. There were it wasn't that many.
It felt like it.
It was at least 200, though.
There's a lot of cats.
A lot of cats that he goes out and feeds every day. And he said, well, what else am I going to do with my time? Sit in the cafes? And we'd seen all those other men sitting in cafes. Yeah. But anyone who's feeding street cats in need, they all have these styrofoam containers set up. And they're sort of like those old styrofoam coolers. Just disposable. They're not really, because they just sit in landfills, right?
10,000 years, right?
Yeah, but the disposable ones that like Thermos brand or something, right? What I was thinking is those are commonly used for carrying bait.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in a seaport,
there'd be a lot of those around.
There'd be right. And you can't throw them away. They do just go to landfills. And they are insulated.
Yeah.
And they are protecting kittens from the environment. And so you just see them. They've cut like little doors out of it. Turn them upside down and cut little doors out.
Right.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Around corners, behind warehouses, off of underneath boardwalks.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen that. And I've seen a ton of things where people have made shelters for community cat populations in America and, other places. But I've never seen it done with those styrofoam coolers. And it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
Perfect size for a little litter of kittens.
Absolutely.
Just put them in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did want to point out to you, because I know that you'll appreciate this and you probably had this thought on your own.
Yeah.
But all of the cat eye view shots we get all the way through the movie, where you see all the feet, especially Denise in the marketplace, and it's just like feet, cat running through feet.
Right.
It's like our favorite scene from Anton and Cecil. Cats
it is
at
indeed.
Sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Run between a mismatched pair of boots out the door.
They're just. I don't know how much more to say about this, but everyone needs to see it.
It is a beautiful thing. It is. It's really something.
It's stunning. And I don't know how Harriet reacted to it, but Colonel Lint loved it in that he slept on his back, showing off his belly for the entire length of the movie.
Oh.
Right next to me. Cuddled up with my legs on the couch, just enjoying, because I think he liked the music. Like, there's a real peacefulness about the movie.
That is his highest recommendation.
Yes. I can sleep on my back with my tummy exposed
It's got 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
I just happened to see that.
How could somebody dare say that this isn't a beautiful movie?
I don't know. There was something that someone had said at the very end of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was just a beautiful thing. Said, "A cat meowing at your feet, looking up at you, is life smiling at you."
Mm-hmm. I typed that too. Yeah. They talk a lot throughout the movie that street cats really represent Istanbul. That like when you think of Istanbul,
a symbol. Yeah.
They say it's a cultural symbol. It's a distinct trait of the city.
Right.
I kept thinking of, I traveled to Buenos Aires, and there they have a street cat population, but they are in parks and in cemeteries.
Okay.
They're not just
everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how they just decide to stay in parks and cemeteries, but I think the point is, like, to cats, a cemetery is a park. Like, it's all the same to a cat.
Sure.
And in fact, I thought of that because in this film, in Kedi, there's scene of, you see all these cats in this urban cemetery. Do you remember? They were like in the trees and sitting on headstones and stuff. Right. And it was one of the things we saw when they were talking about how the modernization of the city, and there's very little green left. Yeah. Right. And so the cats have fewer places to go. Actually, one gentleman was saying that it's like, well, you can bring them inside and give them a litter box, but it's not as good. Right. They much prefer to go find places to do their business. Exactly. And I think that's when they showed us Denise like digging in the potting soil too. Like, oh, I found this place to do my. Yeah. But I was thinking more and more that in Buenos Aires, you do see all these cats, and there are elderly women who they are referred to as the cat ladies. Like they retire, and then they take it upon themselves to go to their park or their closest cemetery, and they just sit on a bench with bags of kibble, and they sit and they feed cats like they're feeding birds. Right. And then there's a really significant street dog population in Buenos Aires. Yeah. And these dogs just wander, and people just, like, they ignore them. There's just dogs on the street, and, they get fed out of shops and stuff, but they don't belong to anybody. But it's very different. There's not, like, you wouldn't pet those dogs. Right. Like, I was there for like 10 days, and I still didn't really understand what the deal was with all the dogs on the street. Yeah. The cats in the parks, people were willing to talk about. And even I would sit down in a park and cats just come. And they don't really care if you have food or not. Like, they know the old ladies are coming. Yeah. But like, I'd have cats that come and sit. They get in my lap and they purr, and they're like all very sweet, and they've all been spay and neuter. And but as soon as like an old lady with a bag of kibble would show up,
see you later.
Yep, off they go. Right. Yeah. And the ones that don't want to be petted don't come to the bench. Sure. They stay back and they wait for the ladies to throw the food a little further. Right. But it's nothing like this. Yeah. Nothing like this. And I heard some people in Buenos Aires saying not very nice things about the cat ladies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And saying not very nice things about the cats either. This is not like that.
Yeah, it's very different. Anything I've ever seen.
I mean, let me say, most people I talk to in Buenos Aires, they think that it's nice that you can go to a park and, sit and read a book, and a couple cats will come and sit with you. And
sure.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But it's not just like every time you walk out of your house, and, every time you go to the grocery store, and every time you,
right. Yeah.
It's a very specific thing. Like, you have to go to a park.
Yes.
To sit with cats on purpose.
You have to go to where the cats are.
Yes. As opposed to just you and the cats are all in the same places in the same.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The quote you were sharing about a cat meowing at your feet, looking up at you, is life smiling at you. Yeah. The second part of that is there are moments that we're lucky. They remind us that we're alive. Yeah. I think our own cats help remind us that we're alive. Like, we know that with our pets that we choose to guardian and have as part of our families. It's a reminder that someone else is counting on you. Yeah. Right? Like, if you ever have those moments where you feel like, you're depressed or sad, and you don't know what the point is, you're having trouble in life, you're grieving over something, or, you're having trouble at work or in your personal life, there is someone who cares about you unconditionally and is counting on you for food and shelter and such. That's how I would, without seeing this film, that's how I would take that. They remind us that we're alive. That is not what the people of Istanbul mean. Because these cats are going to get by without you or not, and they have for thousands of years.
Exactly.
I think the person who said this, what they mean is they remind us that we're in a community. They remind us that we're all alive, not just humans on this planet, right? We're all here.
Yeah.
We're all creating lives for ourselves. We're all creating relationships with each other, whether you're people or cats or dogs or the greenery of the city or the rats in the sewers, right? Or the seagulls in their community, right? And that they remind us we're alive. We're all alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a different, someone had said that to me without me seeing this film.
You would think of it with your Western American filter on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, after having seen this, you can think about it in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is much more spiritual.
It is. Very much so.
Yeah. Harriet's enjoying our conversation. Harriet, do you remind us that we're alive? She's just happy you're petting her right now. Happy. She is purring.
She is.
But we definitely didn't talk about everything.
No, there's still a lot more there to be discovered.
Yeah. So
do yourself a favor.
Yeah. If you like cats enough that you listen to our podcast, you should be watching this
silly
movie.
Podcast. Yeah, watch this.
Watch this beautiful piece of art.
It'll change your life.
That's all I have. You?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, Kedi is the movie, Kedi. You can watch it on YouTube Red, and you can read more about it at kedifilm.com, and we really hope that you do.
Yes.
And with that, go play with your cats.
Go play with your cats. Hey guys, don't go play with your cats just yet. Remember, I promised that there would be something special in this episode, so that's coming up right now. This is an outtake from one of our episodes. This is one of the Top Cat episodes. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. But while we were recording, Harriet showed up and something very funny happened. This has never been heard before. We've been saving it for the 100th episode, so enjoy.
Hi, Harriet.
Harriet just joined us.
Come talk into the microphone.
Hi.
Come over to my mic. No, she just wants to sit on my paper.
Yeah, she just doesn't want you to have your notes.
You got to move. All right. So we come back after the theme song.
Yep.
And Dibble this time. So this really is like the previous episode because a meeting is being called right at the beginning of the episode. Only this time it's Dibble.
Dibble is calling for the
first time ever, Dibble's going to call a meeting, and it's because he's really angry at TC and the gang.
Because the alley is a mess.
No, specifically, he's angry. Actually, I don't think he ever says anything about the alley being a mess in these episodes. Like, normally that's a thing he says 20 times an episode. No,
that's what I have written down.
Oh, well, what he's really mad about is that he goes to make a call to the sergeant.
Oh, and the phone.
And the phone isn't there. She's actually getting snot on me.
Harriet.
You're gonna... She has a hairball on the episode. This would be like the greatest outtake ever. Harriet, you done?
You okay? Nope, it's coming.
Oh, no.
It's coming. There we go. She goes. That's hardly anything.
Does their food have red food coloring in it?
No, not that I know of.
No. Sometimes it's just that they cough too hard. I was looking for paper towels. Your paper towel dispenser is empty.
I know, and I was thinking about that.
So is your banana dispenser.
Yeah, I know. I'm out of bananas and paper towels. I was thinking about the paper towel situation earlier, and I'm like, I'm not going to need a paper towel. I'm recording a podcast.
We're recording it right now.
I know.
Harriet, you had hairball on the podcast.
She jumped up on the table to do this.
To have a hairball during the recording of the podcast. This is going on the 100th episode.
Yes, indeed.
Harriet.
Now Dudley's sneezing. What's going on?
When she was doing that preparatory coughing before her hairball, she really was like getting my arm wet.
Gross.
I know, it's disgusting. Cats.
All right.
You'd think we didn't like them.
Hey, are you okay?
She's fine. It's just regular daily activity for cats.
Yeah, but it's like the third time I've ever seen her do that.
Oh, really?
Yes. I find hairball. I know Dudley does it all the time, but
she must have just eaten too fast.
Yeah, she may have.
Okay, I'm gonna wipe my arm off with one of these Clorox wipes.
Please help yourself. Gonna leave this rolling, of course.
Yeah, of course, because this is gold. This is podcast gold. Harriet.
Podcast history. It's never happened on any podcast.
On any podcast ever has a cat had a hairball during recording. She wants to be the center of attention. She said, "You're not talking about me. You need to talk more about me."
Well, she fixed that all right.
Yep. Plenty of talking about her now. All right. So, where were we?
We were talking about Dibble's phone.
Okay.
Why he was upset.
Okay. All right.